This is the thing with like lying online when you've already talked about it online, you're always going to get caught, right? Like if you lie about it in present day, if you lie about the seriousness of it, or in this case, James was like, oh, it only happened once. Previously, he said it happened a bunch of times, so why would he have lied back then, right? When he thought it was going to be kept private. When you think it's going to be private, why are you lying, right? Do you guys remember James Bear? How many viewers in chat remember James Bear? James Bear was a guy who, he had written posts about how he his sister. Do you guys remember that? This was a while ago. I made videos about how he banged his sister, right? It was like huge. So essentially, James Bear was a guy who was an animator. He had a very successful channel. This is his channel. You can see he's got a black profile picture now. But before that, he made these animations that people like this one.
Oh my god. Is it over? Whoa. It's finally over. I've made it through November.
Oh, you're up. It's about time.
Yeah.
I always just kind of hated this, right? I just found it really cringe. But this didn't really matter. What matters is that he f***ed his sister, right? But then he posted this response video, our response, where they claimed that they actually didn't have sex, I guess. This guy says, you and your family definitely made her apologize and retract her statement. The evidence against you is ridiculous. How do you think anyone will believe this? So essentially, that happened, right? And now, have you gone over this? I have, but there's a bunch of other. This person posted an hour and 15-minute video going over James Bear. The degeneracy, dishonesty, and derangement of James Bear. I'm very curious what's going to go on here. I'm very curious what all the detail is. So let's just hop into it. Video is by Salty on YouTube. Turkey time disclaimer. I mean, I'm not the only person to do a disclaimer. This one aesthetically does look like mine, but I don't really give a shit. I think it's cool when, you know, I'm not trying to like take credit here, but I think it's cool when people are like inspired by my videos and take notes and use my music and stuff like that. I think it's cool. I don't have a problem with that.
When a content creator experiences a large amount of growth in a short time, it is inevitable that they cannot maintain this growth for more than a few weeks at most. Especially so if said creator's content is nothing of innate value or personality. The decline will be as fast as the uprise.
True, that is ironic. Salty.
However, this typically only applies to...
But I feel like that's not necessarily true. I think most people are just not bad at keeping their momentum, but there are definitely a lot of YouTubers who are able to like make good content and just keep the momentum going, you know? I mean, it can be hard to figure out what to do next, but you can definitely... There's a lot of content creators who have managed to maintain momentum. I feel like I've done a pretty good job maintaining momentum over the years. Obviously, there's like high periods and low periods, but at any point in time, I feel like all my stuff is growing, and I'm, you know, pretty happy with that. But I'm also actively trying.
The channels that make their entire content surrounding what is trending at the time. And this descent is only one that consists of numbers and analytics, and really has nothing to do with said creator's content, or be it mental stability. With that being said, falling from grace is a large factor in many of the videos on this channel, of the storytelling and analysis nature to be specific, such as our slimy scaly friend or our Newgrounds artist turned far-right white nationalist. Deteriorating from large levels of success is something that is not only done frequently, but also in a variety of ways. For one, you have been deplorable, committing an act that has your entire community and others turn their backs on you, and you have been burned at the stake. Typically, rightfully so. The other can even intermingle with the previously mentioned, which is lying. Lying in general, or about a certain malicious act or deed, often gets you similar treatment as committing an act of degeneracy or deplorability. Finally, falling off the deep end. Having everything, every little mistake, mishap, lie, act, and general action boil up to one point before an inevitable downfall and descent. Mentally, physically, and socially. With all of those, individually, being different ways one can descend greatly in their careers and in life in general, with all of them being verily morally unjustifiable and generally bad. What if I were to tell you there was a certain web animator that portrayed and signified every single last one of the three previous factors to a point? The man being presented today has displayed every ounce of possible deplorability, deceit, and total borderline insanity. I present to you the degeneracy, dishonesty, and derangement
Degeneracy and derangement are spelled wrong.
Of James Bear.
What is this like Nightcore edit? What is this? I kind of like it, but what is this? This is crazy. The song is really good. I like the song. Whoa. Keeps going. I like this. I don't really care. Whatever. Why are his teeth so big, though? When your teeth are half of your face and the other half of your face is covered in black paint. Shadow. Inside the life of James Bear. What is inside his life?
James Bear, born on the 6th of July, 1999, previously known as Doodle Jam. James Bear is a vaguely prolific YouTube animator, his YouTube debut being
Vaguely prolific. Look, I don't know who made this video. I don't know if this is like a 15-year-old making this video, but vaguely prolific is not the best way to phrase that, okay? Vaguely prolific. What is vague about how he's prolific?
This art on Twitter posted a thread that reads, "Friendly reminder that this guy, 9-year-old sister, admitted he did publicly due to depression at the time, then removed everything relating to it once it died down."
Yeah, I remember this. This is what I remember. The initial James Bear statement. It was really crazy. It was basically him like, so I was really depressed and I was feeling kind of sick. So, you know, one day I just had to kind of stick it in, you know. That was basically what he was saying there, which is really, really funny. It's so funny.
The Mega Bible document showcasing almost everything relating to James. One final thing, he started when he was 13, she was 9, and they kept at it till he was 15 or 16 and she was 11 or 12. According to, we've been doing it between 2015 and 2016. It was never once, never twice, multiple times for years. That's all.
And he wrote a whole like novel about it too. He wrote like an entire novel talking about like his relationship with his sister. Here he writes, "It all began in February 2013 when I began to get a little friend called depression." Hold on, I need some sad music for this one, actually. Open up the sound library. Let's run it. It all began in February 2023 when I began to get a little friend called depression. I didn't know at the time, and I did something terrible. I had sex with my sister, which at the time I was 13 and she was 9. If it makes you feel better, I'm suffering emotionally. And I did it because of my depression. Someone told me that depression can't make you do things. And we've been doing it till I'm going to say between 2015 and 16. And I know it's still affecting me. In 2014, I got beat up outside in the cold winter night and I got sick. And that sickness could have killed me. And in 2015, I got sick again. But while I was sick, I cried myself to sleep. And I began to lose my friends. My depression kept getting to me. My dad emotionally abused me too. And so, January 23rd, 2016, I began to felt like and I nearly took my own life. But I didn't, and I went to sleep. My friend Alex, I told him on that day that I should, and I forgot to tell him that I'm going to sleep, got worried and phoned the RCMP, and they told me in the hospital that they were checking on me to see if I'm okay. But I was, so yeah, I gotten sick again. But I'm okay. So yeah, that's what happened. But don't tell anyone. And now we've got a hour and 50-minute video. Bro said don't tell anyone. Bro said don't tell a soul. Don't tell a soul about that. I may have banged my sister, but just don't tell anyone. Like, you know, just keep it kind of under wraps. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, you know, I was like a different person back then. I've kind of changed since then. And I feel like realistically there needs to be some kind of like, you know, I mean, maybe a little bit of criticism's fine, but, you know, hour and 15-minute video. I mean, what, you know, is that really right? Should that be happening? No, of course not. And I would have taken my own life if I didn't bang my sister. But at that moment, I realized that life was worth living. Yeah.
The former would be a document of 182 pages. If you are under the impression that I will be dissecting every nook and cranny of
I think the document was like totally schizo from what I remember.
this document in this video, you are sorely mistaken. I do give credit where credit is due. It is extremely difficult to even manufacture a document that long. Before I get into the credible parts of this document, I'd prefer to be totally unbiased in my telling of this story. So I think it's only fair if I share some thoughts about a certain area of this document in particular that seems like padding and totally unjust accusations. There is an entire section on James's fetishes, only really one of them being a quote-unquote fetish. To demonstrate how totally ridiculous this section is, we can refer to page 132, which states, "My favorite, insert heart emoji." Oh yes, James, having a big arm growing on you is your favorite. You even added a heart next to it. I guess you really love that big arm, don't you? You creep. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be cute, or he really just is scared because he just f***ed up. I mean, he is already f***ed up. His life is f***ing worthless.
Dude, James Bear just has a fetish for going to the gym. Okay? He just has a fetish for going to the gym and getting a big arm. Nothing wrong with that. Unironically, James Bear is just like me, okay? He's just like me. I go to the gym because I have a fetish for being huge. That's why I go to the gym, guys, and that's why you should go too.
Oh, you gotta love
He just
how
wants to
you even
bulk,
add this
okay? His sister wouldn't let him bulk, so he had to do it.
666 and his name on his arm. Yes, you will notice 666, 6, or 69 a lot. Probably his favorite number. I wonder why he loves the number 69 so much. Probably because of what he used to do to someone. Hell, James, go to hell. Funnily enough, this is not the 666 or even a 69. It is actually just a curse mark from Naruto, which coincidentally warps the shape and size of Sasuke's arm, not inferring and directly admitting to things I will mention momentarily. As for
So
this
he actually his sexual interest is being like Sasuke from Naruto.
section, I personally believe there is a
What?
large language barrier with the person who wrote this, as they might not fully understand the concept of fetishes. Also, their speech patterns and grammar isn't great. A lot of this document is petty dating drama, and James essentially feeling sorry for himself throughout the latter.
Well, what is that art? Hold on.
A lot of this document is petty dating drama, and James essentially feeling sorry
What is that? What is that? What is this chat? He's just been jorking it with one arm? What is this?
for himself throughout the latter part of his teenage years. In messages with a user who was dating his current girlfriend, or not really, he gave backhanded messaging and was essentially preying on the downfall of a relationship to one of the parties in it. Did I mention, this is terribly hard to read because James types like he's in a role-playing Discord server, constantly using ellipses and emojis and italics. It's extremely embarrassing for even a 16 to 18-year-old. James had a large contingency of jealousy for a particular user who was dating Clarissa in the early months of 2016. It is so obviously demonstrated in their messages that the receiver picked it up within 9 messages with James. Some of these messages include, "Claire, I'm talking about her. Never mind. You're lucky. I just suck at life. You said you had a rough day. Well, at least someone you love could at least cheer you up." Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you jealous or upset, or do you have feelings for Clarissa? I didn't know. You were talking about her. No, never mind. Having another shitty day. And
Why does he type like that? Is this a normal way to type for people online? Is this like a furry community thing? Typing with like so many ellipses? Like, no, I don't know. I just like ... I don't know. I'm feeling under the weather. ... The whole thing with my sister ... I'm depressed. Like what is this way of typing? What is this way of thinking? Like you type constantly like role play? It's not even ironic, is it? This is just how he types. That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel anymore. In a conversation referencing his new supposed crush, he says this, "But I don't know. I'm just getting a negative feeling, sad face. I've had that feeling before. Well, I feel like Michaela doesn't like me.
It's Michaela, you
Because I know her fanboys likes her. And about that whole Claire thing before, I really liked Claire before. I didn't know at first that you were dating her. I was hurt while she told me. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Firstly, fanboys, that is just a fan. Don't worry, you can still talk to her. Secondly, I'm really sorry to hear about that Clarissa thing. It's okay. It's not like anyone likes me anyways. I deserve this for the things I did. And Claire's
Dude, typing in such like a self-defeatist way, it's so cringe, bro. I don't know. I never understood that. Just like everything is like, oh, you wouldn't like me anyway because I'm so shitty. Just like begging for someone to like gas you up. Very, 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 very cringe, James Bear. Listen, James Bear, despite what you did, you need to get your money up, not your funny up. You need to be not getting one arm blown up, but getting both arms blown up to be huge. Not like Sasuke, but, you know, just go to the gym. And then, well, that whole sister thing is going to be kind of hard to clear up. But you know what, James Bear, there's a chance for redemption, okay? There's a chance for redemption. You're going to be fine, man. You're going to be fine. Just talk to me. You can work for me. You can work for me. Use 2 hands like Tom does. Exactly. Just, you know, be 2-hand gripping it at all times.
lucky. Finally, after cheering up slightly, he drops this zinger. Thanks, you. Heh. Yeah, lucky you and Claire are dating. I know I complain about it, but, like, you know, not complain, talk.
Why are you messaging her boyfriend like that? Why are you messaging her boyfriend like, I know you guys are dating. I really liked her. It just hurts my feelings, but, you know, You guys might be dating now, but I thought she liked me. I honestly think she might, but you guys are dating, which is fine. Anyway, sorry to bother you. I'm kind of a bad person, so kind of makes sense. Like what? What? What is this? Why are you typing like that, bro?
About it, but sighs, sorry. Don't worry, it's fine. I love
Beta!
talking to you, and your art always impresses me and Clarissa. Sighs sadly, but for some reason, I have a thing. Never mind. Just tell me. Pats your
We're gifting
head.
5 memberships. Holy cow.
You can talk to me about anything. Don't worry, James. I have a thing for Clarissa? Looks down. Aw, James. Pat. Don't worry, you can still talk to her and even draw her.
Why do they both type like this? Why do both people type like that? They're both just as guilty. This is worse than the sister thing. If you type like this is worse than any federal crime you can commit, frankly.
Well, it
You
doesn't
should
have
be
to
in jail forever.
be that way. You could just draw Clarissa or her OC. Her drawing is so cute. Maybe I'll draw her ovo and draw her naked.
Bruh. You're messaging the girl you like's current boyfriend being like, maybe I'll draw her naked? Bro, come on. Come on, James Bear. Get it together, man. Get it together, James Bear. Okay, you can't be, listen, James Bear, if you're going to draw her naked, just do it in private, okay? Don't be sending it to her boyfriend. Bro.
JK, I'm sorry. If you'd like to read this document for yourself, be warned it is longer than you may think it sounds. However, it is linked in the description. Now, for the real meat and potatoes of the alleged in this document.
Because I feel like everything we've gone through so far has just been like cringe and like didn't really need to be included with this initial situation because it's like he had cringe DMs, but also he f***ed his sister. Like I feel like one they should be focused on and the other is kind of like whatever.
A message marked to be on the 25th of April 2016 reads, "It all began in February 2013 when I began to get a little friend called depression. I didn't know at the time."
Yeah, we saw this DM. That one was pretty fire DM. I don't know. One of the funniest confessions I've ever seen, honestly.
So yeah, that's what happened. But don't tell anyone, by the way. To truly add the final touch onto the cesspit of degeneracy in this message, he adds 3 totally unrelated, inappropriate emoticons to really give us the impression of his struggle. There is a discussion to be had about 13 and 9, as neither of them are anywhere near old enough to understand sexual intimacy. However, with that being said, the problem arises when James continues to do it to the maximum age of 16, minimum 15. The perfect way to sum up this message is the theme of disgust, and let it be known, the entire community and the entire internet as a whole shared the exact same sentiment.
All right. Well, I would say we know. We'll keep watching.
Initially exploded the situation, James had already formally responded in the form of a Twitter post, which read, "With what's being brought up about me, I have to admit about the sister thing. It did happen, but only once, when we were just kids, and it was consensual. Anything else about me being a pedophile or on minors is not true whatsoever."
So here at this point in time, he's saying it did happen. He's saying I did have this interaction with my sister. But his position now is that it actually never happened?
Messages are over 4 years old to a 13-year-old while I was only 16 years old myself. Therefore, I was a minor myself. I made a mistake when I was a kid, and I didn't know it was bad. But those mistakes I made back all those years ago don't define who I am today. I'm a completely different person. I will be taking a break since the threats and false accusations have taken a huge toll on Claire and I's mental health. So yeah, I just wanted to clear the air on that front. However, this entirely contradicts the message he originally sent, which proposes one of 2 options. Either he A, lied back then about having intercourse with his 9-year-old sister multiple times, which would give him no good grace or leeway.
And this is the thing with like lying online when you've already talked about it online, you're always going to get caught, right? Like if you lie about it in present day, if you lie about the seriousness of it, or in this case, James was like, oh, it only happened once. Previously, he said it happened a bunch of times, so why would he have lied back then, right? When he thought it was going to be kept private. When you think it's going to be private, why are you lying, right? But when it's public, now you're telling the truth. Like, it's just kind of, I mean, it could happen. There could be an explanation maybe, but maybe he was trying to make the person feel worse for him by banging his sister more, or claiming he banged his sister more, so he would feel more emotional distress from that. I don't really know what the explanation would be. How old was he? He was 13 when she was 9 when it started, and I believe he said that it ended when he was 15 or 16 and she was 11 and 12.
In a conversation he was having in which he wanted to be more
I'm curious, like, how did the parents not know? Like, what was going on there? How did nobody find out?
pitied rather than hated, or B, was telling the truth then and is lying now. Either way, it's not a fantastic look, as the proof is in the pudding, a message he self-admittedly sent. However, he does not elaborate on this contradiction whatsoever. The community was outraged. How could such a loved, seemingly unproblematic animator turn out to be such a monster? And to lie during or after the fact only enrages them further. At the drop of a hat, videos were pumped out by commentary channels trying to publicize and criticize
There's
James'
me.
situation. Videos from the likes of Tamimi, Optimus, Turkey Tom, Repzilla, and even yours truly were produced within the following weeks of the situation, made with disgust and shock at the situation and James's lackluster response. One day after the initial Twitter thread by Layla was released, James had some wise words of wisdom to share on his Twitter platform and attempts to respond to the claims made. My response for the 5th and final time. First of all, I would like to apologize to those who are upset and disgusted by some of the claims that are being thrown at me, by what appears to be a premeditated attack on me as a person. Second, I'm ashamed for what occurred in my past, and I'm working towards being a better human being. However, the claim of me being a rapist and a is not true. The amount of harassment and threats I've been receiving because of this is astronomical. Third, about my past, as much as it pains me to confront it, my past was never meant to be public knowledge, and was leaked 5 years ago by a person who hated my guts for ridiculous reasons, which is why that document exists. It was a childish attempt to try and make me break up with someone they liked and wanted back. As time went on, and
That could definitely be true, but it obviously doesn't negate what's been found out publicly.
Hello there. I would like
So
to
this is James's current response from 3 weeks ago, 9 minutes long.
give my thanks to everyone watching this response, as I'm sure you all have a lot of questions that needs to be answered. My goal with this video is to respond against allegations that have resurfaced 5 months ago and to tell the truth on the matter. Or rather we, will do our best to respond. On January 31st, 2024, my sister Alicia posted some serious allegations. I know I made some mistakes over the years, but people have taken the story and ran with it without any additional information. I took time off the internet to properly digest the situation so I can come back and make an appropriate response. Her claims are false, and she admitted that she was doing all of this just to make some money so she can move out and be more independent, like her friends. Furthermore, she was too fixated with online drama, which is very likely why she seized the opportunity, due to the amount of times my name gets brought up in drama over the years. Once her parents spoke with her on the matter, she apologized profusely and confessed that she made a terrible mistake. She retracted her statements, closed her donation page, and publicly apologized.
Me and my family had a talk about the situation, and it would be best to not talk about it anymore. I caused nothing but stress along them. They don't deserve it. I take full responsibility for my actions, especially with doxing them. I only did it because I was upset. That's no excuse, and I won't do it ever again. So please, if you came to my profile to ask me anything about it, it's just you don't bother. Well, she's not saying that she lied here, to be clear. She's saying that the way she handled it wasn't great, but she never says here that she lied. Apparently, she doxed her parents. Interesting. I mean, in a situation like this, the most confusing part about this to me is like James multiple times said it happened. One time he said it like the sexual interactions were consistent for years. Then at one point he says it did happen, but it was only once. I feel like if it didn't happen at all, you would just say it didn't happen, right? So that's the most confusing thing here to me. And also, like, if this girl's underage to this day, she probably feels pressure from her family if her family doesn't want her to talk about it, right?
But even shortly after posting that apology, it wasn't enough, and people began to speculate and spread false rumors that were silencing her. If my words on the matter aren't reaching out to anybody, or if nobody is willing to believe me, then perhaps my sister will speak on behalf of that.
This is Alicia speaking, or in other words, this is his sister speaking, and what my brother James is saying is true. First, I would like to give my deepest apology to everyone for spreading misinformation about my brother and about my own family. Truth be told, that I only came forward because I was only upset, and my reasons for being upset were petty.
This sounds so scripted, though. This sounds like she's like in a chair in like an ISIS video.
And I had a falling out with a friend. People who claimed they had their best interests never really cared, which resulted in me giving them very personal information and having the police come over to our family's house yet again.
I mean, the thing is, like, it's not just that his sister spread quote-unquote misinformation. Like, James specifically said it happened before she was even a part of this situation. So maybe the police should be involved. I feel like she shouldn't be in that household.
My actions were completely reckless, and I didn't mean to put my family in danger like that. For years, I was always aware about the drama online towards my brother, and admittedly, I knew from the beginning that he was innocent, and unfortunately, I adopted this false history that the internet made about us, and it felt like I had more to gain by simply accepting it. So,
but like, it's not just what the internet said. Like, none of this would have even happened if James hadn't posted a confession saying that he did it. Like, James publicly said that he did it multiple times. So I don't understand why this doesn't even make sense, right? Like, he said it, not her. He said it. The internet didn't just like run with it like crazy. Like, he said that if happened.
So with that in mind, I jumped the gun with a post that not only destroyed what little bit of reputation my brother had left, but nearly ruined my family from within, thanks to the negative influence of internet drama. Second, the document itself was entirely fabricated. There were a lot of things wrong with the document itself, including the events and timeline, the name calling, my unprofessionalism, and the amount of times I plastered my Ko-Fi link on a lot of things, including my tweets and people behind the scenes. My motivation behind that Ko-Fi page was to move out and be more independent with my life, instead of being at home all the time.
Yeah, I mean, considering what happened to her, she probably should move out and be independent.
Our parents were completely upset when they found out what was going on, and rightfully so. I wasn't thinking straight, and I made a huge mistake when posting all of that. I even did the same exact thing back in late September 2023
Like, she tried to run away from the situation.
when James was out helping out my family with our brother for his dentist appointment, and about a day later, my family only found out about the call-out a day after they came home. But with the incident back in January, I had no idea what I got myself into. I didn't actually think my post would have blown up
Notice how at no point has she said so far, my brother did not me. Notice how she never says this at any point.
the way it did, and didn't expect people to believe any of the things that were being said. I truly regret ever getting involved with any of this, and I only wish that things would go back to normal. Back in 2022, when James was making his last big response on the whole situation, I was actually going to help clear his name back then, but he insisted that he would do all of this on his own since he didn't want me or any more of his family members to be involved after the drama, and especially the doxing situation in 2017, and yet this was the result of that. He basically took the blame for nothing. Even after all this time, it was never easy for him to admit that nothing happened between us, when truly he was innocent for the most part.
What do you mean for the most part?
Lastly, I want people to know that
The thing is, like, if he's innocent, why would he say he did it in the first place? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And, like, there's a bunch of DMs of him admitting to this. Like, here we have this one. James says it wasn't. Gunner says, what was it then? Because obviously it was something big to the point it can get you in jail. James said, we both had sex and I regret doing that. It emotionally brings you down that I have people bring it up. And now we have this DM. How would you go to jail for that? I mean, yeah, it's incest, but at the same time, it sounds like it was forceful. James says it wasn't because we both wanted to do it, but I'm ashamed for what I did. I might have made some things up because of how scared I was because of that person spreading their... But I don't make up things when I say this. After we did that, it actually brings me down to see people bullying her, and it feels like it's my fault. They obviously don't know, but I don't feel bad. I feel bad for my sister. Even if it's awkward to look at her, I just let it slide. And when that immature brings it up, I get so furious and scared. Like, he said it happened. Here you have this DM. James, you had intercourse with your sister. James says, I had so many assholes telling me that. Yeah, I did, but I felt bad. I felt ashamed as well. Like, this doesn't jive with this. And this is, once again, this is a private DM that he thinks is private. Like, why would he lie here about banging his sister and then publicly say it happened as well? And then now in this new response, he's like, oh, I actually didn't do it. I'm innocent. Like,
my family is not silencing me in any way. I overreacted when the police got involved for the second time, and after I posted my vague response, someone spread a rumor about how I was being silenced. It most likely stemmed from a group that I was giving out personal information to or someone close. So whoever is doing that, please stop it. Speaking of, some of the individuals who won't be name dropped here are not to be trusted at all. These were people who didn't have their best intentions in mind when they...
the thing is, they might not have the best intentions, but, like, James still did it. She sounds like she's being coached. Yeah, 1,000%. I think she is, dude. And I wouldn't even say that. The thing is, I am saying that specific thing without quote-unquote direct evidence, and the only reason I'm comfortable saying that is because publicly James said that it happened multiple times. Like, publicly. He said it happened multiple times, so I don't understand.
Approached me, they intentionally weaponized the whole
This girl should not be in this house.
situation to cover up their own hidden agenda against my brother through manipulative tactics and any illegal means. Right now, all I really want from all of this is for things to go back to normal, move on, and hope all of this would be the end of it for good. So to cap it all off, I take full responsibility for my actions, and again, I'm so deeply sorry to everyone who has witnessed all of this. Please forgive not only myself, but my brother.
Ever since 2017, people have tried to recontextualize my past in an attempt to paint me in a negative light. I never took the whole infamous document seriously since it was written by a crazed stalker who was repeatedly told to stop.
I mean, the document did seem insane when I read it, but some of the stuff in it was still true.
for months.
Being this.
People thought I was some sex pest. It's completely not true. But I've taken so many buses over this situation for years and prevented myself from speaking up publicly about the things I had to endure. For example, in October 2017, I was doxxed and had police stop by my house since they got a call from someone in America. For the entire month, my family was harassed/stalked by local protective services, and on November 1st, I went up to the police station only to be interrogated for 4 hours. As I got home, I was told by someone in my family that somebody took another family member up without letting anyone know. But thankfully, they came back home soon after I did. Once I got back home, I went to my room and slept for 12 hours straight.
Okay, dude, it's just like, I don't really feel bad for you. Like, you publicly said that you did that with your sister, dude. Like, how am I supposed to feel bad for this guy?
And as soon as I woke up, I hopped into a call with two people who I consider
Like, you publicly said that happened. So how am I supposed to feel bad for James Bear?
After dealing with the situation on multiple occasions within the
very close at the time. I won't
He's
be
not
mentioning
denying it. Yeah, he won't even specifically say that he didn't do it.
names in this instance, but soon after I joined and explained the situation, I broke down crying in front of them and blamed myself for what happened. To this very day, I still blame myself for getting my whole family involved with this nonsense. There were some people who knew about this piece of information, and since then I've tried to separate my private life away from the internet and keep it close to a few friends of mine, out of fear of something like that happening again. But after years and years and years, all it really did was stir up more speculations, people questioning my credibility, and have vile individuals harassing some of the people I deeply cared about, to the point where they don't even want to openly acknowledge that they're my friend or anything closer than that. No matter how many times the drama gets brought up, all it really did was blow things out of proportion. None of it was ever about getting justice. It was an excuse to use it as a weapon to bully me off a platform and leave me ostracized. This time, it was blatantly clear what people were trying to accomplish, and nobody even questioned that. People assumed that my sister was supposedly being silenced, when the truth on the matter is that she nearly got in trouble for giving out private information to various people online, to which the police then came over in that same night and gave her a warning. A slap on the
Yeah, you probably told the police you didn't bang her. That's probably what you told them, bro.
wrist, if you will. I'm not some bad guy like everyone is trying to paint me as. I'm just an average person with flaws. I'm very socially awkward, slow on proper cues, and already dealing with enough hardships in life due to my own sheltered upbringing.
And you banged your sister. And that. I don't care that you're socially awkward or that you slept for 12 hours, little bro. You still did it. You still did it. You still did it, man. Like, what am I even supposed to say about that? Like, if you didn't do it, somehow, you have to be the biggest idiot in the world to publicly claim that you did it. Multiple times. Privately claim you did it multiple times. Be consistent about that. And now you've got, like, your sister in this, like, hostage video. I feel like this video should be on Live Leak or something. Like, it's crazy. He's lying. He's literally lying. So, like, he got away with it? Yeah, it does seem that way. How old was he? Minors aren't tried like adults. Yeah, I don't know if legal action would ever come from it. I can't be sure about that, but that girl should definitely not be in that home whatsoever. And it seems like he's lying about it now. That seems to be my takeaway from this so far. Anyhow, yeah, I think we got the gist of that situation. Probably don't need to watch the whole salty video, but you can check it out if you want. But if you watch the stream, bud, it's in there. If it was like he did it at 13, I could be like, okay, he was a kid. But the fact they're hiding it, the fans protecting him, was just awful. I mean, I think that she needs to be out of that house, man. Like, she should not be interacting with this guy anymore. She needs to be out of that house, bro. Straight up.